Okay, starting with the podium mic. 1, 2, 3, set, check, 1, 2, 3. Good evening.
What's going on? Good. I saw the blinds all down. I go, this isn't the one that they used today, is it? All right. Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
Okay, here we go. Microphone number 6. Check 1, 2, 3. Mic 6. Mic 6. Microphone 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. President mic. Mic number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Super mic, mic 3, 1, 2, 3. Check, check, 1, 2. Microphone number 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Check, check, mic 2. Microphone number 1, 1, 2, 3. Check, 1, 2, 3. Going back to 4 because I turned it up a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, that should be all the microphones. I'm back on the podium mic. I'm going to try just to play sound through the speaker of the computers. I'm just basically going to make some computer sounds. Let me know if you hear that. Okay, that should be it for sound check. Hopefully the shot looks good. And I'm going to mute the sound here, at least for the next 15 minutes. In 3, 2, 1, mute.
Mark, do you know if he's going to try to advance his own slides, or am I doing his slides? Yeah, ask him.
So I don't know if I should say or just go. She said she's not coming. So. Are you still muted?
No.
I'd like to call the meeting to order and begin with the pledge of allegiance, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As we're seated, I just want to ask for a moment of silence. We had one of our cherished employees pass away. Her name is Fran Panera. Fran worked for us for 22 years in our food service department. She began in the year 2000 as a food service helper and teacher aide. She was later appointed as a probationary food service helper in 2001, and in 2005 became a cook, and then later promoted to cook manager. Fran honestly was so lovely and wonderful in our middle school. She beat me to work every day, but I got a chance to walk by the kitchen. She was always so diligent and prepared for the kids. She loved the children here. And during COVID, she came to work every single day. She assisted our students who were home, making sure that they were fed, and worked throughout the summer of COVID, the first wave of COVID, to assist our kids during the summer with the food service program. She fought a battle of cancer and passed away recently, so if we could just have a moment of silence for Fran, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Roll call this evening. With us, we have Glenn Bobeck, trustee, Jay Grover, trustee, Sherry Steffens, trustee, Jude Kuhn is district clerk, is excused, Dr. Brian Graham, superintendent, Ashley Dreyer, president, Sue Marston, vice president, Joy Lamarca, trustee, is excused, Danielle Bruno, trustee, Mike Loria, assistant superintendent of curriculum, staff development, and human services, Cheryl Cardone, assistant superintendent of pupil personnel services, and Dr. Ruby Harris, assistant superintendent for business and finance. Just a couple of announcements. If you could silence your cell phones, please, and note there's an emergency exit directly behind me and directly in front of me in case we need to leave quickly. If I could have a motion to approve the agenda for September 26, 2022, please.
I'll motion.
And to second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carried 6-0. And if I could have a motion to approve the minutes, please, from September 12th, 2022, please.
I'll motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carried 6-0. We have a student ambassador with us from the high school, Madeline Cordero. Welcome.
Thank you to everyone who helped make our Spirit Week spectacular. It was an experience that we will remember for years to come. Last Thursday, a great tradition continued as we held out our annual Powerful football game on Gymnastics Field. Our seniors prevailed and brought home the win with a final score of 49-28. Thank you to all our faculty and staff who helped us plan, organize, and chaperone our pep rally and homecoming dance on Friday and Saturday. We would like to give a special shout out to Mr. Kaiser and Ms. Ruskowitz, who did a fantastic job organizing a great week of themed spirit days, an exciting powder puff game, a fabulous pep assembly, and a wonderful homecoming dance. They put in a lot of work, and I'm sure that our students have made a lot of great memories that will last a lifetime. Grand Island High School held our first blood drive of the year last week. We had 55 units of blood collected, which will help save the lives up to 165 local patients. Thank you to Mr. Nosen and Mr. Simpson for organizing this event. Grand Island High School is partnering with our PTSA to provide a guest speaker for our students on Thursday, October 27th. The PTSA sponsored presenter will be Mr. Duncan Kirkwood. Mr. Kirkwood has partnered with several local school districts, is originally from Buffalo, and has spoken at a number of high schools and colleges all across the country. Mr. Kirkwood focuses on resilience training for youth and young adults. This Friday, September 30th, our seniors will partake in the annual wall signing and senior luncheon at Pearl Street. Senior class advisors Mr. Donnelly and Mrs. Spinelli assisted the class in coming up with a theme related to New York State's motto Excelsior, which means ever upward in Latin. We are excited to see how the mural turns out. Grand Island High School will host a college consortium on October 4th, where students may speak to college representatives to learn all about all the great programs and opportunities they offer. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and for our public comment session, agenda items only, we did not have anyone sign up to speak on agenda items, so we will move to our presentation by Young and Ray.
Yeah, that'd be great. So we have a great team here to give the board an update on the structural engineering analysis that's been going on at Kegabyne. Matt Cummings is here. I think he's going to be speaking for us today. Matt, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us. Everyone hear me all right? Tonight we're kind of recapping from a year ago. We met with you guys to discuss some of the concerns that the district had at Kegabyne Elementary. We wrapped up the year-long structural analysis. We've done some Cistern investigation and as well as Geotech investigations. And Rashawn is gladly, thankfully helping me this evening with the presentation slides. So, again, chatting about the reports that we've completed to date, and then want to just kind of briefly discuss some of the next steps that we'd like to work with the district on. Okay. Next slide, Rashawn. Obviously, my name is Matthew Cummings with Young and Ray Architectural. Sean Wright is with me as well. He's going to chime in if you guys have any questions about anything, and then we obviously have Vaughn Miracle from campus. So, Kegabyne Elementary and Rashawn, sorry Rashawn. Kegabyne Elementary School. So, right now, we've completed a multitude of tests to try and get to the bottom of what is occurring with some of the floor conditions at the building. So previously, and we've highlighted this floor plan to really delineate the core areas of concern with the district. The pink areas are areas with the classrooms are experiencing some sort of floor movement and also some exterior wall delamination, deterioration, as well as some of the door frames showing rust and wear and tear. So previously speaking, back in 2013 and 2019, the district hired instructional engineers to do an analysis. We've already discussed that, so I won't go in great length with, tonight about that. But the recommendation was based on the thin slabs in those pink highlighted areas as the result of the floor movement itself. Their recommendations were to remove the floor slab.
Matt,
Yep.
could you just, I know you have a couple pictures from 2003 on the slide. I'm guessing that some of this was taken when the district undertook some work in the library and rehabilitated those floors, or perhaps those are different pictures.
It's probably a combination of both, but you can see in the black and white photos, I believe those were from the 2013 renovations in the library itself. You can see the very thin slabs in that area, but then also in some of the color photos, you're seeing some of the floor movements in the VCT, and then obviously you can see the floor door jamb very rusted out in that one image.
Thank you.
I believe that there are some photos coming up of the cores that were taken, and then some of those would be in that library area, showing the 2-inch slab on-grade that we experienced there.
And then the next slide shows our year-long study. We had the district engage HSE engineers, and they basically went throughout the building and did 3 visits to examine the various conditions. Their basically analysis revealed that there were no significant changes throughout the course of the year. We were thinking it might be due to seasonal changes, water influx or something like that, but we're not seeing any significant changes from January to June and then June to January. Okay?
Matt, that's good news, right?
It is good news.
Great.
Yes. Still a head scratcher, but
Right.
we're getting to that in a second. So they believe that the slab movement has kind of stabilized at this point. The building is not in structural failure. I know that there was some concerns with, I believe it was classroom 35. There's a vertical crack in the one corner of the building. They do not believe that it is a structural issue with anything in the building itself.
And Matt, sorry to interrupt. Just for the board, that's the picture in the right corner of the collage. That's the room I think you're talking about, right?
Correct. You can see in the corner there is a kind of a vertical crack just right next to the window frame itself, but their analysis basically said that it's not structurally related. What they are seeing though is a lot of water infiltration into the building itself. Water vapor is getting into the building, and that is what's causing the delamination and the rusting of the door frames. So that is one of the concerns we're trying to address in some of the options that we're looking at with the district. So their recommendation would be to remove the existing 2-inch concrete slabs, and excavate all of the soil that's below there so that we have a nice foundation to put the rock, the stone, and the 4-inch reinforced concrete slab with a vapor barrier underneath that. Okay?
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
So the repairs that they're recommending, is that looking to be a Band-Aid to what is going on, or will it be a fix? So the money spent to do just what you said, will that be a permanent fix?
That is our belief, yes, because if in the next slide, I'll kind of easier to see, at least for me, it's a visual thing. So if you look at the lower images, that is the cores that were taken back in 2013 with the addition that was put on the south end of the building itself. On the left side, you see a 2-inch concrete slab. Typically speaking, nowadays you would see double that, would be 4 inches of concrete. And then below that, you would have at least 4 to 6 inches of compacted structural stone, okay? You have currently 2 inches of concrete with about 2 to 3 inches of a sandy material that is not stable and is breaking down and causing not only your floor to move, but the moisture to from the building's kind of basement crawl space and adjoining soils to mitigate into the building and causing that deterioration of the walls itself.
I know you said we were talking about the two sections, are those the only two sections that are in need of repair?
Those are the only two that we've documented that have the movement in it and also have the telltale signs that the moisture is coming up through the floor slab itself. Now, we could be doing another study if you needed us to look at the other side of the corridor, but we haven't seen any deterioration on that side of the building.
There was one of the structural reports documented the movement in the slab. So those areas with the red shading was the most amount of movement.
So when we were, our last big report, those were the only areas, it wasn't the entire building, it was just.
Right.
Okay, great, thank you.
And just to illustrate that, Rashawn, can you go back a couple slides to the floor map that's shaded? So Matt, the shaded areas, I think they're pink.
The big, yes.
I cannot tell colors. Those are the areas that have the issues with the floors.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's the original structure,
Yep,
correct?
so-
Everything else
Yeah.
was added on, I can't see the dates on the shaded area, but is that the original part of the building?
1953 is about the approximate date of the original building.
Okay.
And that is essentially the north wing, the center core, and then the wing that is to the west, southwest. Okay?
Those are the ones with the long crawl spaces, not the full basement.
There are some slab, most of the classrooms, in this area are all slab on grade, so there's a concrete that is sitting on the sandy material itself. Below that, there are some crawl spaces, but it's not to the extent where it's a full, like if you were to your house, there's not a basement or a crawl space throughout the whole area.
Thank you.
Yep. So again, their recommendation was to replace that concrete slab with the correct depth and removal of that soil in the area and putting in a vapor barrier. The vapor barrier is what's kind of going to help the building keep the moisture where it's supposed to be and not inside the wall systems itself. Okay? The other thing that we explored was the cistern. So the district was a little concerned about why there was a big cistern sitting out on the campus, and we wanted to understand why there was water coming into the cistern itself. So we hired a candy company in January of '22. They picked the coldest day for me to be out there, unfortunately. But the good news is that there are 4 confirmed inlets into that cistern and 1 confirmed outlet, and that outlet is a giant pipe that's 70 feet that empties out 70 feet below grade and into the Niagara River.
Rashawn, can you just go one more slide? Thank you. Does that help, Matt?
Yes. So in this image, it's a satellite image, and you can see Rashawn kind of move the cursor to that circle that's right there. That is where the cistern is currently located. We sent a camera robot down into the cistern and tracked the inlets for where they're coming from. There's one to the east. That one is, we got to a certain point where it was clogged with some debris and didn't want to risk getting the camera stuck there, so we had to stop, but we believe that it is leading to a culvert that is in the upper kind of right-hand corner. And then directly south of that, there's another culvert that water collects from the parking lots and would empty into that system, okay? The other one is leading, snaking underneath the building itself. Took a lot of turns, and ultimately we had to stop because of some more debris in the inlet itself, so we just stopped it there. But we believe it is probably an old roof drain from the original part of the building itself. The last one is from what we believe is from a fire hydrant that is just to the south of that cistern. We also understand that cistern or fire hydrants leak sometimes, and they're also from municipal water. So we believe that there was some concern that there was the water had some treated water in it, so drinking water. So that's probably the result of that. Okay. But in all good news is that we didn't find any water source that was coming from off property. So it's not like we're dealing with an old abandoned structure. This was put there as a part of the water management system when the school was built in the 50s.
Because water was an issue, believe it or not. I believe there is a cistern at Sidway as well, but
It
don't
would
quote me on
surprise
that.
me.
Yep, they put it in for a water source.
Yep. Okay. So, the last test that we completed were the geotechnical reports. We decided that with the district's permission to have a field of test samples of the soils tested. So we grabbed about 24 topsoil tests. We did grabbed a few, about 15 asphalt cores, and then we also did several geotech cores into the earth itself, where we went down between 12 to 25 feet to really just get a true analysis of what the soil makeup was in the area itself. Good news is that it found pretty typical soils in the area, redevelopment soils, nothing out of the ordinary, just clay soils, which can retain moisture, which would be, kind of lead us down that path, okay? And you can see all the test areas in those two areas. Any questions with that? Okay, so next steps, we're trying to understand the scope, a schedule, and then in the future, we just need to start chatting about budgets. So, facilities committee, campus and Young and Right worked on a couple options to share with the board to see if this is something that you guys are interested in us pursuing a little bit more. So our first option, Brian, I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's the blue shaded area. Good, all right. The blue shaded area are obviously those, from the previous plan, the areas of concern. In this area option, we would remove the existing 2-inch floor slab and all the soils below that. We would then come back in with new engineered fill, okay? And a 4-inch concrete slab that's reinforced with a vapor barrier in between there. And that's basically the bare minimum. We're just trying to do this as the budget friendly, like no frills type of thing, okay? Option 2, same scope, we're just looking to enhance those classrooms. So new unit ventilators, new ceilings, new flooring, obviously new flooring would be in the first option as well. But basically giving those classrooms 2022 update, okay? Option 3 would be to basically do the same thing as option 2, but have the infrastructure for future air conditioning in consideration. So since we're replacing the unit ventilators in those classrooms, we can have the factory install piping so that if the district so decides to air condition that building in the future, you have that basically there. You just need to get the piping from the unit ventilator to the air conditioning units itself. Okay? Questions? I do have some questions. Okay? There's one more option, if you want me to go through that.
Yes, please.
All right, perfect. Fourth option,
Oh, sorry.
we decided to give you a little bit more. So, option 4 would be to basically take the north wing, the blue shaded areas is still the same scope as the previous option, okay? But we would also move to the other side of the corridor to fix up those classrooms as well, so that they're all looking like they're state-of-the-art classrooms. New unit ventilators, new ceilings, new lighting, new technology, okay? And then the green area, we would kind of focus on trying to provide air conditioning for the rest of the building itself. Again, that's the fourth option, but there's a lot of different options in between to explore other options.
So would this be the full scope of the capital project if we move forward? If we, capital project, right, would this be the full scope or would there be additions elsewhere?
Yeah, I think the committee would have to look at more than just Megabyte.
Okay, and then, so, because my question would be, if it was the only scope of our capital project, would it make sense or not make sense to hold on to those repairs, which you all know I feel are very important, but to lump it more into one capital project in a year or two when we have capital reserve and all of those other things. It's kind of a financial question, I guess not necessarily for you guys, I just wanted to understand if this is right now the only scope of the capital project.
I mean, previously we had, when we were here last, we had scope identified for Sidway. We have scope identified for Youth Road and also for the middle and high school. So there are district needs in every building, including important things like boilers, hot water tanks and stuff like that need to be addressed. So yes, there needs to be other discussions about the other buildings, but as far as K-Vine, we were just trying to provide you with an update about what K-Vine is looking like.
Well, and I appreciate it because I'm pretty sure I was the catalyst behind the report. So I really appreciate identifying the actual sections that are in need because I really thought it was the whole school. So thank you. I just maybe more information on any other capital project I guess would go from us then.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What about a time frame? I mean, even option one, something that could be accomplished over summer? Are we gonna be looking at needing great additional space?
It's a great question, right? We've worked with campus to kind of just 10,000 foot view, look at a possible schedule of how this would be phased. There is a possibility in option one where we take over 2 classrooms in the summer. Make sure that end of June, everything's cleared out. Campuses has the contractors move in. By September 1, campuses contractors are out, students are moving in, type of thing. We're trying to phase this so that we're not incurring additional costs with temporary classrooms.
Temporary classrooms are very expensive. Yes.
I think that with that, it would depend on which option we chose. It would depend very much on the scope of work. How many total classrooms, what's the overall impact? Obviously, option number one is us coming in and just polying off the walls in big, essentially, just like we did in the library 8 years ago. So I think schedule would depend very much on, which route we go.
Matt, can you describe a little bit the long-term effect that could happen at the building if we don't do anything significant at this point in time?
Well, it's going to continue to get worse. Obviously, the moisture that's getting into the plaster walls and the metal door frames is going to continue to deteriorate. If we went back to some of the previous slides, there's a photo of a door frame from 2019 and a picture from 21, and you can see that there's, in just a couple years, that the paint is starting to peel off even more. So if you look in the upper right-hand corner, that white thing is the door frame. Sean goes to the previous slide. In the lower right-hand corner is that same door frame, and that's previous. So the paint's just going to keep peeling off. It's going to keep rusting. So there's going to be continued maintenance from a visual aesthetic standpoint from the district. That we're going to have to be painting the walls and dealing with the plaster that's peeling off.
And I think the big news here is we don't need to build a new school, right? I mean, we were very worried about that, quite honestly. We didn't know what we were gonna find. And this longitudinal look at structural engineering reports from, what, 2000 is it, or to today, does give us, a good feeling that the building is still worth investing these capital dollars in and having it for years to come.
And it's been the recommendation of the last 2 structural reports over the last 2.5 years that it could be repaired. It did not have to be replaced.
So there really is a lot more work to be done by the committee, right, to look not only at Kettering, but the rest of the district. I'm not sure if we have a date yet, but we'll get one soon, and Joy and Ashley and Glenn are on that committee, and I foresee many more meetings this year.
The reason that we're going with the, the options is to begin to marry that into the financial plan and understand what the best approach for the district is. Is it a phased approach on megabyte? Is it one project? That's kind of the next step.
Any other questions? Thank you.
You guys are welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, or you can leave, it's up to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So that brings us to curriculum and instruction with Mr. Loria.
Good evening, everyone. We have one item, and it's listed as a discussion item. It is our updated professional learning plan. We do update our professional learning plan every year. If you recall, last year we did a complete overhaul of this plan. Once every 5 years, we do submit this to the state. We are on a cycle. So it is a discussion item, but if the board is inclined to vote as an action item, you can choose to do that. And if you have any questions, I'm here to discuss them with you.
Any major changes?
No, not from last year. We made a lot of major changes a year ago. This year, basically, what we do is we update all of our professional development providers in there. So, if we have new initiatives going into this year, such as restorative practices or other resources, like, for example, elementary school looking at implementing a social emotional paths curriculum, those types of things are the things we would update from the beginning of the year to end, as well as those people that we work with through our OC services in terms of professional development as well.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Motion, can we ask for a motion? Okay, go ahead.
You said you're taking more of a trauma-informed approach. Is that the same one that you, Dr. Grimm, interviewed about with Hamburg, the one that they're using? That trauma-informed?
Are you talking about the podcast?
Where are you looking? I'd like to just look at it, you know what page you're on?
10.
Thank you.
Says it includes taking a more trauma-informed approach to address the social emotional.
Sure, so it's not the first
It's not
statement.
gonna- okay.
Yeah.
No, we have some money set aside in our title monies for trauma-informed
Do you know what
PE,
it's? what
but it's not,
being
the one you're referring to is very costly. and
Yeah.
we need us to plan
Yeah.
ahead and budget
used?
for.
So I wasn't sure if it was gonna be that one. Do you know which one you're gonna do, or?
Do you have specific things on that?
And we're investigating,
We're,
paths as,
right,
correct?
'cause- so.
Yeah, because past is more like social emotional, and then
Social
trauma
emotional,
informed seems to
we're
be.
sort of, there's a
more-
variety of wellness,
Right, right.
places, we kind of talked a little bit.
Right, right.
But it ties up this money so that if one of those trauma-informed presenters come up, or if
Yeah, yeah.
one of those teams want to initiate something beyond that, then we would be able to do that.
Okay.
And by the way, our professional learning community, professional development committee is meeting later this week to start discussing our staff development days for this year as well. So in those conversations, we'll have some discussion about what the priorities will be for this year as well.
Awesome.
Okay, did we want to vote? Did you want us to vote today?
It's
or-
up to you, if you want to, you can, if not, it'll
Do you
be an
want
action
one?
item next week.
Okay,
I
next
just
week.
think that if there hasn't been any major changes, and I think they went through good here before, I don't see why we couldn't motion to put it today.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the professional development plan, please?
I'll motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carried 6-0.
Thank you.
That brings us to personnel instructional. I know we had an adjustment.
We do have an adjustment, if we could, on PI3, we would please remove one of the names, it shows that people.
Okay, if I could have a motion to approve instructional A and B with the deletion, please?
I'll motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carried 6-0.
Just checking to see
And
if we, I don't think we have any introductions today, no, for both agendas. Great, thanks.
I noticed on this, sorry about that, I noticed on this that it had item A and B grouped together. However, I did not include item B as an action item, so I just want to verify that you guys voted on A, the instructional appointments.
Okay. And then the employee handbook?
Yes, because there were major changes, so the employee handbook that you've been given, there were major changes, so that may change your approach in terms of how you handle it compared to the professional
Yeah,
working
we
plan.
really don't want to.
So that is also a discussion item. There were some major changes to that. We did a complete overhaul of our employee handbook over the summer and continue that work through the beginning of this fall. So that is a discussion item that if you would like to review prior to our next agenda, you can put it as an action item then. But if you are comfortable and want to vote, you can also.
Is it actually attached? Because I don't have it.
Yeah, it's not attached, Mike.
It's
So
not.
let's move it to the next agenda.
Okay.
Well, if that's not attached, then I would
Yeah,
just.
so we definitely want to remake that motion to address A. I'll make that motion. We should just be, previous motion on personal.
Well, I think that, okay, so we are just doing A, yeah, okay. Yeah, it says A and B. Motion to approve instructional A, please.
A motion.
And a second,
Can I just,
with the deletion?
can I make a comment? I'm sorry. So it's not attached under non-instructional, it's attached under instructional, just so everybody
It
knows.
would, so
Yeah.
we're, yeah, because we're.
Because I know it applies to
We're
both.
on instructional now, so
Right.
it was put under instructional, not attached, and then referenced in the non-instructional agenda, because it does apply to all of our employees, instructional and non-instructional.
Do you have the major changes noted?
It would, no, because it was really redone from scratch. So our
Okay.
old policy, if you remember, was a compilation of links and notations referencing our policy and the policy in Word docs, which we've also been discussing in our policy committee meetings. So this was redone from a totally different lens. It was not including those references to policy. It was just done as a typical employee handbook as we do.
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah.
Make sure we take an in-depth look and make it as a discussion session.
Right.
Great.
Okay, so motion to approve instructional item A with the deletion mentioned earlier.
A motion.
And a second? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carried 6-0. And moving on to personnel non-instructional, we also have an adjustment.
Yeah, but if you could please remove PN3, please remove A.
Okay, a motion to approve non-instructional item A with that adjustment.
And I will make that motion.
And a second? All in favor? Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carried 6-0. And that will bring us to finance then with Dr. Hicks.
Okay, so I just have a couple items tonight. The first item is obsolete equipment in the IT area. So Robin is asking for some items to be declared obsolete. The item B is obsolete buses. We have 2 buses that we're declaring obsolete, so they can go up for bid with Auctions International to be sold. Those are the 2 action items.
Okay, could I have a motion to approve finance A and B, please?
I'll motion.
And a second?
I will second.
All in favor? Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carried 6-0.
And then, subject area C is the check warrant for August as informational. That's it.
Thank you. That brings us to special education.
I have 3 items tonight. We have our CSC and our CPSC program recommendations, and also a ratification for our hearing officer of Michael Luzon.
Okay, if I could have a motion to approve special education pupil personnel services A through C, please?
A motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carried 6-0. Okay, And that brings us to the superintendent's report with Dr. Grimm.
We actually have an action item under here for Superintendent Report. It's the annual safety plan that's posted on our district. I'd ask if the board is ready to entertain a motion. We'd love to get that passed.
Motion for the SAVE Plan A, item A. And a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carried 6-0.
Thank you, everybody. I want to thank Madeline. She did a great job in sharing some current events at our high school. It was a very busy week. Before we get started, though, we do want to recognize John Roth, who will be honored by the Grand Island Chamber of Commerce as Citizen of the Year Lifetime Achievement Award. The dinner is on October 13th. If any of the board members are interested in going, please let Jude know. And tickets are on sale right now through the Chamber website. As you can see, there will be others recognized as well, some businesses, the Neighbors Foundation, which always does amazing work for our citizens, and Robert Myers being recognized for community service, and Mike Kwiatkowski for service to youth sports. So it should be a great event. Mr. Antonelli shared this picture last time we were together. He spoke about this amazing book vending machine that he's incorporated with his students for social emotional learning, academic learning, behavioral support. It's really wonderful. Mike was the universal pre-kindergarten students who got to test it out. Really exciting to see how much they enjoyed it. And it's such a unique idea, so thank you, Mr. Antonelli, for your leadership along with your building team with this great project, and our UPK kids seem to really like that day, so nice job. Baron Selick was recognized for the National Merit Scholarship Program for her PSATs, recognized for outstanding performance amongst other students across the United States. So to have her singled out at Grand Island High School was tremendous, so congratulations to Baron. And she doesn't always wear angel wings to school, but she certainly is deserving of that. And just some photos from the past week. You know, any type of homecoming is a really wonderful, spirit-filled week of school. There's a few children here in this photo that we might recognize, but they really had a fantastic time, and I just want to give credit to our teachers, Mr. Austin, who takes some amazing photos, just to give you an example of how exciting it was to be in the high school auditorium to see all the fun that the kids had. This, of course, is Mr. Murray. Mrs. Marston, he took over for Mr. Mazza. So it's been Mr. Mazza and Mr. Murray carrying the torch of the famous blue-white chant. I'll show you a quick video of that in a few minutes. So you can see really a fantastic time, a lot of spirit, a lot of excitement in our homecoming spirit assembly. And of course, the excitement of the game and our Vikingettes and cheerleaders. And just, this is Bubba. He helps sell Bubba's Barbecue during the football game, and that's his beautiful family and children. And Raven had the honor to announce to our whole school community that they will be performing High School Musical February 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And it was really a fun way to integrate that announcement into the Spirit Assembly. So thank you to Mrs. Boutte and Mrs. Kretz-Harvey for allowing that to be part of the Spirit Assembly. And you could tell how excited she was. And actually the whole crowd got pretty excited when that announcement was made. So it was a really nice integration. These are our physical education teachers at the middle school performing to the Shout song while also using pool floaties and big ball items to make music in phys ed. So it was a pretty cool experience for our kids. Let's see if this will play. Hopefully it will. Murray and everybody who helped with that. That's just really wonderful. Let me just get back to here. And of course, a big thank you to all the teachers and staff and administrators who helped organize and supervise and promote this joyful event. Really a testament to everybody's building of a wonderful culture. I do want to just make sure that our board knows and thank the board for talking about the Family Support Services programs at earlier board meetings and talking about the importance of communication and making sure that all families have the opportunity to learn about the services that we provide for our students, the wellness services, the mental health services. We did push out a video that Jessica Hutchings made. Thank you to Mark Horton for helping her put this together. I'm not going to show you the whole video, but just to give you a little flavor.
Is that on our website, right?
It
Was it
might
emailed? How was it?
be, it was emailed out to all families.
Okay.
And you can see down here that 103 families or people or individuals watched the video. So that shows us right there. So it'll just kind of, I'll play a little bit.
Lego Minecraft is challenging me to think like a Minecrafter, build like a Minecrafter, and recreate some of my most iconic builds using Lego bricks.
Hi, my name is Jessica Hutchings. I'm one of the social workers with the Grand Island School District. I also coordinate our Family Support Services program. I'd love to spend the next few minutes educating you about the services and the programs we have available through Family Support so you can utilize them for your children. The Family Support Services Program, an initiative of the Town Board of Education Wellness Committee, is designed to provide families of the Grand Island community with convenient and beneficial opportunities to link with various wellness supports and resources. So what types of things does the Family Support Service Program offer? Probably the primary program that families utilize is the referral and linkage to mental health counseling. We're really fortunate to have relationships with multiple agencies, which I'll get into.
So the video just goes on and describes all the services that are offered and really helps to inform
Many
families
agencies and practitioners.
of all the services. that
Horizon
are
Health
provided.
Service Gauge, wonderful opportunity for the last couple of years.
So I'll just stop it there, but I will check, I don't know if this made it to the website, this particular video. So we'll definitely look to see if that is actually on the video, maybe under school news, Cheryl, we can add that.
You were gonna do a Q&A night too. Did you guys pick a date for that?
We did, yes. Does anybody, Mrs. Marston, do you remember? Oh, yeah, round table, okay, great.
I mean, we could do it now, I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter. So the Wellness Committee did put together a presentation night for mental health. It's on November 10th at 6 p.m. in the high school auditorium.
I think the middle school
Oh, little theater.
Oh, it's a little
I think so, I think there was a conflict, so we'll make sure.
How many? I thought it was free now.
Check. What time is it? 6 o'clock.
Yeah, and if we can do it in the auditorium.
Yeah.
I thought that's what you had told me you had worked. Okay. So that's the day we picked, it'll be a presentation of all of the services that we currently provide, maybe some other things we're looking at, and then we will open up to questions for everyone in attendance. It'll be the Wellness Committee, Jessica Hutchins, who is part of it, will be there. I'm gonna guess she's gonna be our facilitator.
She will be.
So it should be fantastic. It'll be a lot of information. It's been quite a few years since we put one together, so we're very anxious to do that again.
How are we delivering the message that date?
I tried to just information is like,
Right,
she
okay.
is, just like she does for her,
Wellness.
for our care nights, for our wellness care nights. So it'll be, on our website, and she's also.
You
Can
can always
fire
email
this out
Roger.
Yeah.
email or mail?
We can
or both?
clearly do that, absolutely. As soon as we have the flyer out, push it out. Yeah, it's really easy to do, so. And it goes to like 4,000 email addresses, so it's really nice. Yeah.
Thanks.
And I do, Sue, to your point, if any person that's watching this video today goes to our website and chooses departments and services, and then chooses pupil personnel services. This is our website, and then I believe down here is an instructional video that's part of the bigger video. This is an instructional video that features Jessica, and she talks to
Hi, my name is Jessica Hutchings. I am the district social worker who coordinates our Family Support Services program. I wanted to create this video to make a quick and easy way for families to be able to learn about and access the services that we provide through the Family Support Services program.
And in this, she goes through the virtual office that she created, which is actually awesome. So this is a virtual office she created, and this is the link to that virtual office. So when you go to the virtual office, let's see, where did I go? Oh, here it is, right here. So yeah, you open up her virtual office. So if it was after hours and you couldn't get to Jessica, but you wanted to learn more about, say, coping and stress for your child or mindfulness, all of these are actionable links. So you open up coping and stress, and it gives you some support for teens and their mental health right from her virtual office. So obviously her information's here, and all this information links to some of the satellite counseling partners we already have in the district, and other areas are highlighted right there in our website.
This information is also on the town, the Grand Islands website, and also on their Facebook page as well. So it's in a few more locations for anyone searching for information. And I believe it's right as you pull up the town.
Yeah.
I have pulled it up in person time, but it's there also, so.
Yeah.
it's in multiple locations.
Right, and November 10th is in the autumn, our parents' security night is in October.
Oh, I'm
there
sorry.
you go.
Okay.
Good.
So,
Thanks for
okay.
checking.
Yep.
So just want to make sure everybody knew that. And the last slide for tonight is just a reminder that we do have a Viking tip line that any parent, staff member, student, or community member can send an anonymous tip, and that anonymous tip goes right to our building principal and to Cheryl Verdell. Does anybody have any questions about current events? All right, thank you so much.
Okay, that brings us to Board of Education report, and we have a GISBA liaison report from Sue. Would you want to?
It was handed, I actually was not in attendance
Okay.
at the meeting. I don't know if it was discussed on the golf tournament or raised or that's something.
Ruby, do you remember the amount of dollars that ended up being, no,
I think it,
is it 15,000?
Doesn't have the exact.
yeah, right, I was gonna say, I don't have the exact number.
In the range.
I think it was in the range of 15,000. It did very well. We look forward to doing things like this in the future and expanding as we're able to.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that brings us to public comment session. General items not included in this agenda, beginning with Jen Merica.
Hi, I'm Jen Merica. Parent involvement, school support, and positive peer relationships are essential to a student's learning, growth, development, and overall health. Setting the stage leads to better outcomes academically, socially, and psychologically. I've worked in schools serving at-risk youth for over 10 years, and I'm currently a mental health therapist. As a mental health professional, I see many patients with a variety of mental health challenges. But what sticks out the most, to be the most challenging, seems to be anxiety. Both adults and kids are suffering with anxiety, social anxiety, separation anxiety, at an astronomical rate. Anxiety in youth can make students 2 times more likely to drop out of school. When I was 15, my 14-year-old cousin committed suicide. He was a kid who slipped through the cracks. He was a star quarterback, super popular, a successful model, did well in school, but most of all, he was kind, and he appeared to be happy. As an adolescent, I didn't know what mental health was. I don't think at that time many of us knew. But now that we know, we need to address it. and prevent it as best as we can. So, how can we prevent kids from slipping through the cracks? Because there are many similar stories like my cousin. Most children with mental health challenges goes unrecognized and untreated. Those reported report 1 in 5 kids suffer from mental health, and 20% of those with known mental health actually get treatment. Barriers to mental health treatment for kids include lack of parent understanding and reluctancy, cost and insurance coverage, lack of access to providers, wait lists, and lack of availability. Strengthening mental health support systems, as long as strategies for improving children's lives, would make a huge positive impact to our students. While I understand there's a current wellness committee, it is important to form a committee strictly focusing on mental health. This committee should consist of mental health experts and parents. Knowing the needs of our community comes from parents and students. Having a committee to collaborate strategies and resources that best suit our students is much needed in Grand Island. Another recommendation is to train all teachers and staff trauma-informed care to help educators respond and support their students more effectively. More than 2/3 of children report at least one traumatic event before their 16th birthday. Teachers often do not know the trauma that occurs within their students. Best being trauma-informed would help benefit. Addressing and treating trauma and mental health can help prevent school dropout, bullying, violence such as shootings, poverty, food insecurity, homelessness, substance use, generational trauma, and future mental health challenges, and help promote academic, career, and personal success. As a parent and a mental health expert, I hope that the board will consider adding a mental health committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and next up we have Jim Mulcahy.
I'm recommending that the board adopt the following proposals. The first, which should be completely non-controversial, is that the syllabi for every course and every section of the courses be posted on the district's webpage under the curriculum tab. These should include all readings, texts, etc. that are assigned or recommended. Parents and taxpayers have a right to know what is being taught. This is consistent with the goal of transparency. The second proposal is that the presentation to the public of the proposed budget should be held the week after it is approved by the board. Current practice is to approve the budget at the second board meeting in April and hold a public hearing prior to the first board meeting in May, typically 3 weeks later. This is a week before the vote. There is no reason for this delay. It should not be held the same evening as a board meeting. It should be held on a separate night so all attention could be devoted to it. This is the way it used to be done. This is a simple action to take. Again, it should be done. The third proposal is a bit more discomforting, but should be done also. All votes should be held at the fire hall. We have held a number of referenda there. It is clearly easy to do. It is a central location. Those who live in the south end of the island won't have to trek all the way to the north. Now, I'm under no illusion that the board will even discuss these proposals, much less act on them. Why then am I spending my time proposing them? Well, there are high school students here as part of the course requirement, and there are folks listening in on our computers at home. Maybe, just maybe, some of them will say, you know, he's right. Why aren't we doing things this way? Nothing else, possibly, someone besides me will engage the board and ask them why the syllabi are easily available for every class, why the budget presentation isn't given the time it deserves, and why isn't the voting for all school issues or trustees' capital project not held at a central location. Eventually enough people will demand answers.
Thank you. Okay, that brings us to Committee of the Whole, items and information for the roundtable, beginning with Glenn.
I got nothing.
I'm all set.
Sherry? Sue?
I'm all set.
Danielle?
All set.
Mike?
All set.
Cheryl?
All set. Thank you.
Ruby?
Next meeting is audit, so the audit committee will be getting together before that, and then the audit presentation will be the night of, I believe it's October 11th. Okay.
Sure, yeah, I just want to make sure that all of our faculty and staff know that flu shots, there's a schedule for flu shots, so tomorrow from 9 to 1 o'clock here at the high school, middle school campus, you can go to the conference room, otherwise known as the Oasis, if you're interested in getting your flu shot. Transportation department, I think, Teresa, is Wednesday, 10 to noon. And Heath Road is Thursday the 30th from 9 to 11. Sidway is Friday, October 1st from 9 to 11. And Cackledine is Tuesday, October 5th from 9 to 11. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our next board meeting will be Tuesday, October 11th. With that, if I could have a motion to adjourn the regular board meeting at 8:31 p.m., please. And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carried 6-0. Thanks. Good night, everyone.
Yeah.